What is going on, guys? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Let's get it. Long day, man. Not a long day today, but yesterday. 1-5 on the season. You know, I rewatched the game. Kind of mixed thoughts. You know, penalties obviously killed us in the first half, but for the most part, I actually thought we played pretty decent. You know, I would like to change a couple things in that second half. You know, the pick by Andy Dalton, but defense is so bad. Get some coat. I mean, the defense was bad, but there's, I've been a big critic of the defense. You know, against the Falcons, they love to run the ball, right? They got Bijan Robinson. Was it Tyler G or something? Two good running backs. You take away Shaq, you take away Derek Brown. It's hard to stop that. It's hard to stop that run game, right? So the defense, I thought, played decent. I thought we saw a little bit more pressure than we have the previous 4 or 5 weeks, which was good to see. Offense was rolling until Andy threw that pick. Yeah, I go back and forth on this pick because, you know, the whole point of running the ball is to set up the play action eventually, right? You want to pound the ball with Chuba and then eventually, you know, go over the top, a little crosser route. Now, why Ian Thomas was the target for that is it's beyond me, right? I mean, I don't understand that one. Now, the commentator kept saying he went too deep. No, he had to go deep because whether it was the nickel or the linebacker, they were playing pretty shallow. So Ian Thomas had to go deep. But again, the DBs are going to be faster than Ian Thomas. Ian Thomas as a target on that play doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why we're going back to last year where we have our tight ends running our crossers and our slants. We've got so many more weapons. I don't get that. Plus, when is Brooks going to play? That's a great question. I thought for sure he was going to play, but apparently he's not. Now, what I think is going to happen, plus, is, let's see. It just got announced he returned to practice, or he's going to return to practice this week. So, but what's going to happen, plus, I think, is that if we keep losing, there's a less likely chance we see Brooks, right? Because why would we rush our future back when we're 1-5 on the season? So I want to see Brooks too, but they're like, okay, he's coming off an ACL tear. We're already 1-5. The season's almost over, unfortunately, right? Not for everybody, but for the Panthers. If we lose 2 or 3 more games, the season's done. So, you know, it sucks. I want to see him too. If we get the number 1 pick and someone wants to trade up, I'm trading back and picking best. We got to draft a lot of defense. And then figure out where is Evero going to go. Where is Evero going to go next? Is he going to stay on the team? Is he not going to stay on the team? That's something else. Let's go, Barron. What's going on, Barron? The offensive line, Hunt are playing great. That's the only hope we have for our future. Barron, that's a good point. Offensive line's playing very well. Sanders is good receiving tight end. Now, this is where it gets tricky, right? Because I think Chuba, if I'm not mistaken, he's on his last year of his contract. Deontay Johnson's on a 1 year. Andy Dalton has a 1 year left. So it's going to be interesting to see how they build this offense. You know, Andy Dalton, he's playing good, but I feel like we could get somebody who's playing just as good as him, right? I mean, you could give him that 3-year contract, that team option on that 3rd year, but I'm like, he can't really grow with the team at that point, right? And if we're going to be having new receivers, a new quarterback, potentially a new running back, I'd rather just go get a quarterback who can kind of do what Andy Dalton's doing. Because if you look at it, the amount of time he has, just about any quarterback could do that, if I'm being honest. So kind of my thoughts on that. I don't really know much about the defensive players this draft, but I just hope we can get one of those guys that's a game changer I'm kind of there with you right now. Um, it doesn't have to necessarily be in the draft. There's no reason why you can't trade for somebody or sign a free agent. I would like to see them be somewhat aggressive this year. Like Barron said, the offensive line, that's intact, right? So last year, that was a priority. We took care of that. Next year, we got to get linebackers. You got to get linebackers and you got to get a safety. I mean, the safety help, we got to get safeties bad. So, against the Falcons, I felt like penalties killed us right there in the first half, but we were still right there with that blocked punt right before half. Came back, that next drive scored right before half again. Held them to 3 both times. And then, the turnover. So we got to get a playmaker in that front 7, which I thought we had, but somehow we don't. And it's a little concerning. What else we got? I don't know if Andy has another year in him. I love him, but if we're going vet, I feel like best case scenario is Geno. I don't know that Geno's the best case either, because since Dave has left, Geno has actually started to decline a little bit. And Geno has weapons over there in Seattle. So if I'm being honest, I don't really love the Geno pick, to be honest. But again, I guess what else is out there? As far as Bryce Young, I'm not going to say anything yet. Right? I'm not going to say anything yet because I don't know what to expect from him quite yet. All right, hold on. I'll get back to you in a second. You look. Sign Deontay back. Drop Ian. Let Chuba walk, which I hate. Sign Deontay. Deontay is probably not going to come back to Carolina, though, Barron. You got to think about this. Deontay, he's not coming back. They'd have to pay him a lot of money to get him to come back. I don't know. Unless he gets to pick his quarterback, Deontay is most likely going to walk. As far as let Chuba walk, yeah, because I don't know. Chuba, it depends on the running back market and how people view Chuba, because he's not a home run guy, right? He's not like those backs back in the day where those Priest Holmes, LT, Tiki Barber types. He's kind of in between there. So his market may not be as big just because he's not a home run threat. Now, I love Chuba, right? He should get paid, but the fact that Chuba doesn't have that breakaway speed gives us a chance to potentially re-sign him at a decent price just because that running back market isn't that high to begin with. And as far as splitting the rest on defense, yeah, I'm right there with you. If Bryce can't even get to backup level play, then we're cooked no matter what. We'll get to Bryce if it happens. Let's go. I would love for the team to be better balanced next year, and Bryce ends up learning on the bench. Hopefully, Bryce has learned a thing or two, right? Hopefully, he's learned a thing or two. And all Bryce really has to work on, or I thought, it got worse, but it was that footwork. That footwork was so bad. So bad. He did not look... Honestly, he didn't look like he knew the offense at all. He looked confused. He looked lost. He didn't look like he belonged kind of in the offense. And you got to wonder, how does that happen, right? All offseason, all training camp, preseason long, and Bryce looks lost his first 2 games of the season. So that's a little concerning. And you got to realize this. The schedule's only going to get tougher, right? The schedule, it's not getting any easier. It's only going to get tougher. It would hurt to see Chuba on another team. Yeah, it depends on the market. And who knows? Chuba might come back. But it's going to depend on what the Panthers do, right? Maybe he'll give the Panthers a little hometown discount. Bryce looks more relaxed on the bench. At least maybe he can chill. I remember who he is. He does look more relaxed. I do agree with you there. He looks more relaxed. He looks like he's kind of accepting the role and seeing what he can learn from it. The first couple times you saw it, he kind of looked sad, upset, which I get. But it does seem like he's kind of embraced being on the bench a little bit more, and hopefully a little bit more optimism, and hopefully he's learned a thing or two. You see that Coker snapped on Coker. You said Coker out snapped Mingo. No, I didn't see. Braden, I did not see that. Let me know if there's a link or when it was roughly. What's your long-term plans, buddy, with knowledge and breakdowns? You think you want to get into league or college ball? Nah, Baron, just having fun. Just having fun with this. I did apply for some a little league thing. I did want to help out some little kids and stuff like that, but for the most part, having fun, doing some marketing on the side too. So the game, he needs to work on footwork and not deserting a nice clean pocket prematurely. Yeah, Bryce, 100%. This goes back to last year though, game, right? It's last year's line was so bad that he was kind of having to run from the jump. And I think he hasn't got that pocket, being comfortable in the pocket yet. I think that's kind of affecting him. Baron got that Coke in Mexico. Yeah, they got it at the gas station here. Much better than the other Coke. Much better than the other Coke. Go back to the Gets touchdown. All right, I'll check that out, Braden. I'll check that out. That's the hard part about bringing Bryce back this season. Our schedule is rough, and I don't know if bringing him out would help at all, but I would love to see him start again as a Panther. Yeah, I mean, so let's look real quick. All right. We got Washington next week, then at Denver, then the Saints, and then New York, and Germany, I think, and then the bye week. So you could bring him back after the bye week, but then it's Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Philly, Dallas, Arizona. I mean, you really bring him back against Kansas City? Oh, gosh, I don't know. I mean, there's no really good place to put Bryce Young this season. And Andy Dalton's doing fine. I just think too many injuries, right? You know, it's a big Bryce Young fan, but even trying to support Andy Dalton, I just don't know that the defense is going to be able to stop anybody enough for us to match their points when it's all said and done. I mean, eventually teams are going to figure out, okay, stop the box, stack the box once again, force a receiver to get open other than Deontay Johnson. Can we do that? You know, we'll see. Coker looks good, 100%. Coker shocked me a little bit. You know, I did a video on him, but he shocked me more than I anticipated from him this early on. But no, I mean, the Panthers have a good young future. It's just a matter of the defense, right? That front seven. How can we get that kind of fast forwarded to be able to compete next year or the year after? Because right now the offense, it's good and it's going to take some time, but the defense, I feel like we're still 3 to 5 years from being good. What's up with Mingo? Can we call him a bust? I mean, God, thing with Mingo, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments too, but Mingo has so much potential, right? His route running, the deep route running, the post across, the corners, it's second to none. Mingo's a great route runner, but man, he's not consistent with anybody, right? So last year against the Saints, Bryce had him on a few deep throws. And Mingo, it was like the ball was right here. Let me see. And like Mingo's hand was right here. It's like he didn't even dive for it or anything. And then you never see him go full speed consistently. Mingo's got this thing where he's like a cheetah almost. And not how fast he is, but cheetahs can only run in their max speed, like for like 10, 15 seconds or something. Convert that to a human. That's how I feel like Mingo is. I know this is a weird comparison, but you never see Mingo go 100% on a corner route, 100% on a post, 100% on a go route. He gets off the line, little 50%, then 30, 70, 100, then back down to 70. You never see Mingo go that full 100 the whole time. And I don't know why that is. So, can we call him a bust? Let's see how the season plays out. I don't think Andy has much more football in him until he gets it figured out or his body gives up. Yeah, so that's another thing, Eli. I don't know that Andy's going to come back to Carolina next year. Why would he? You know, he's obviously wants to win a championship before he retires, or I don't know that he's going to win a Super Bowl, but he wants to have a shot at it, and I don't know that he will in Carolina, just because I don't think the defense is that close yet. The Derek Brown injury has completely wrecked the defense. Yeah, when we played teams like the Falcons, when they got, Bijan and TA over there, I mean, you got two backs who are just going to just continue to run right at you, and you don't have that anchor in the middle. I mean, yeah, you're kind of screwed, and then you lose Shaq. So we got Trevin out there and Claudin out there, and just losing Derek Brown definitely hurt. I thought Ashawn would be a little bit better in the run game, but I'm not seeing it. Mingo is sadly looking like a bust. Steve Smith scammed us. I think Steve saw the potential in Mingo, right? And Steve kind of reminds me of Ocho, for those of you who watch Nightcap. Ocho defends every single player, right? Ocho defends every quarterback, receiver, anybody out there. I think Steve Smith is the same way when it comes to receivers. And Steve Smith is not going to bash any receiver. He's going to basically hype up anybody he likes. And essentially, I think that's what happened here. He didn't really see. I don't know, man. I don't think Steve Smith is being truthful about Mingo. I think he's just kind of trying to hype him up, if you ask me. So Chuba's looking great, which means we'll trade him. The Panther way. Yeah. And Pancake, here's the thing. They're either going to trade him or not sign him back. And, you could make the argument not signing him back. You got Brooks. But I don't know. Coming off that ACL tear, I would like to have a lead back. And Miles Sanders had showed me a little something, but not enough to be a lead guy. All right. Mingo and Bryce really fooled me with the training camp this year. I thought they were going to pop off after that joint practice. No hit makes people be different players. Yeah, Elock, it's kind of like what Tyson said, right? Everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. And essentially, you can see the Panthers, we thought they had a plan until they got hit in the mouth. And once they got hit in the mouth on the defense, there's no recovering. Once the offense got hit in the mouth with Bryce Young, there was no recovering, right? And honestly, that's the problem, is the fact they didn't get hit in the mouth. It's the fact that Dave protected Bryce Young, protected Mingo from the preseason, and then put them out there week one. I mean, what did we think was going to happen? Coming off of last year, Bryce and Mingo could not find a connection. And then preseason, no pads. We thought it was all good. Shame on me. They fooled me, but, it is what it is. So, I mean, even without Mingo, as far as the receiving core, let's see, who do we got then? We got XL, Coker, David Moore. And then that depends. Does Deontay Johnson come back? And I don't know that he will. And Adam Thielen's going to be what? 35 next year. Whew. So, I mean, let's say Deontay Johnson doesn't come back. We got XL, Coker, and Mingo, and David Moore. Could be worse. You can always draft a receiver too late in the draft. You can always trade for somebody. You can always sign somebody. But the thing is, if you look at it, the way Dave wants to run this offense is he wants to run that kind of 12 personnel, one running back, two tight end type of set. So there's only really going to be two receivers out there. So if we have XL and we have Coker, I think we're good. XL and Deontay, we're good. We really don't need three receivers. So XL and Coker, maybe the future Adam Thielen in the slot when he comes in, we may actually be okay when it's all said and done there. Tight ends, Ian Thomas has to go. We either need to draft a tight end who can block or sign one, right? Because Ian Thomas is giving us nothing when it comes to receiving. He's just not, right? He's too big. He doesn't know how to use his body to shield. Ian Thomas has to go, right? I think that has to be a priority. If the only reason we have Ian Thomas is to have a blocking tight end, you got to let him go, find somebody who's younger. Because I think he's getting up there in age too. Let me check real quick. I'm pretty sure he's getting up there. Ian Thomas, he's going to be 29 next year. So it might be time for him to go, right? How old is Tommy? Let's see. Tommy's going to be 25 next year. Has Tommy even played this year? So he's played in 4. Okay. Well, hasn't done a lot. 7 catches, 59 yards. Dang. So, I mean, as far as the offense, that's kind of the future we're looking at. As far as our weapons, it's going to be XL, Coker, it looks like, which is crazy. Then you got Jatavion Sanders and probably Tommy Tremble. And we'll see what happens with the running back situation. It's going to be Brooks, but who else will be back there, we'll see. But the good news is that's our offense, and we have our offense for the future. You know, obviously, we'll figure out what happens to the quarterback situation, but for the most part, everything else we have. So that's actually the semi-good news, is that we have an offense for the next year or two. As far as the defense, I mean, this is bad, right? I mean, you know, Josie Jewell hasn't really done anything. Clowney hasn't really done anything. DJ Wanham we're still waiting on. Shaq Thompson's on IR. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where we go in the defense, right? Clowney, I think we trade Clowney. You know, everyone says, well, he's not a pass rusher. He's not this. He's not that. Well, we need a pass rusher. So give us some draft picks. Give us something. Clowney is yours. Because I don't think we're in a spot where we need Clowney. I just don't think we are. So Clowney, to me, in the offseason, now that obviously depends on the salary cap hits and all that other stuff, but to me, Clowney has to go. He's got to go. You know, the other side of him is what? Charles Harris. He hasn't done anything. So we got to get somebody who's going to get some pressure. You know, Josie Jewell wasn't doing much. Clowney. Michael Jackson was good. Cornerback. J.C. Horn's good. We got to get a nickel back. Troy Hill's not it. Shaw Smith Wade. Young guy. We'll see what happens there, but we got to get a nickel back. We have to. Right? In this division, we have to have a nickel back. What else we got? We got 826 drafting tight end, edge, and linebacker. That makes sense. All right. Appreciate you coming in. We have no tight end production, sadly. I mean, Sanders is good, but the problem with Sanders is he doesn't block. He doesn't block on really ever, whether it's run game or pass game. Sanders isn't a physical tight end like that. He's not trying to get his hands dirty. He's just not. So Sanders is good, but you got to get somebody in there who can actually block, who wants to block. Sanders does not want to block, right? He wants to catch. He's a flashy guy. I mean, so my thing on the offense is, yeah, like the A26 said, edge rusher, safety. Who else did he say? Tight end. I'm not too concerned about drafting a tight end. I think we can find somebody who can block. I think the scouts have to do a better job because there's no reason we can't find somebody to do what Ian Thomas is doing. There's no reason. Whether it's drafting, free agents, trading, somebody's got to be somewhere on a depth chart where they can block. That's literally all we need. E-Luck, is James Pierce Jr. a good edge rusher in the draft? I can't tell you that right now. I can do some information and research and let you know, but as far as right now, I don't know for sure. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about draft projections yet and who to draft and who not to draft until we kind of see, okay, the season, it's not getting any better. Now, I'm not saying that the Panthers are going to do anything this year because it's not looking good. But I don't want to go into the whole draft thing quite yet because then that's going to basically change content on this channel completely. And then we're going to have to go full force into that. So once we start to go into that, we're going to really go into that. So that's why I'm waiting. So I want to give you that information and who to draft, who not to draft. But I know once we go into that, that's where all this content is going to go from there on out. It won't be really any more about the season as much. I mean, we'll still have kind of sprinkle it in there. But once we start talking about the draft, we're going all in on the draft and who to draft, who not to draft. That way you guys can see on Saturday. You guys can watch the players too. Try to give you guys, okay, this team's playing. Look for this edge guy, this tight end. this is who the Panthers could potentially draft, kind of things like that. So a couple more weeks, if it doesn't get any better, that's kind of where we're headed, is looking at guys playing on Saturday. Could they fit the Panthers scheme? So hopefully that helps you out, Elock. Again, we'll give it a couple more weeks, probably the end of October. If we don't win, then we're going to go full draft mode. So safety, we need a safety because, we're versing Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Philly, Dallas, Arizona, Tampa Bay, Atlanta again after the bye week, and they're all going to go over the top. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. We got 4 games until the bye. At Washington, Jaden Daniels is killing it. Denver, Bo Nix, Saints. Saints won't have Derek Carr, so they're going to have Rattler. Rattler's going to be interesting. And then New York, Daniel Jones. We'll see if Malik Neighbors is back. But can we win any of those games? I don't know. I'd say maybe the Saints, maybe, depending on how Rattler's playing. And then New York, maybe if Malik Neighbors is not playing, right? That's the only chance I think we have. I don't know that we beat Denver or Washington, to be honest. I low-key already in draft mode and doing mock drafts. I just don't want to give up on the season yet. There's not a lot to look forward to right now because, we're 1-5 and the schedule's just going to get tougher. And with all these guys being out, I don't know how we're going to win anyway. But like I said, once we go into draft mode, we're going full draft mode. Defensive end from Georgia, Mikael Williams was projected to be the top pick a few weeks ago. Already stout against the run. All right, I'll keep my eye on him. Not going to lie, I want Shedeur Sanders. Man, Elock, I don't know if you watched that Colorado game against K-State. He got a lot of knack because he trashed his offensive line. His offensive line is bad. And I get it, right? You're not supposed to trash the people that block for you, but oh my. As far as blocking assignments and everything, they don't have a clue what they're doing. So Shedeur, I go back and forth with on. I go back and forth with on Shedeur because, man, his line can't block anything. There was one play I watched where it was a 6-man protection. They had the running back line up offset next to the tackle. And he just let the edge rusher come right by. Just come right by. It's bad. Travis Hunter. All right, Leo, I'm curious, though. Do you have Travis play corner or do you have him play receiver? Because I feel like right now with Mike Will and JC Horn, we're pretty good at corner. So let me know your thoughts on that. Travis Hunter is he's one of those ones, right? So it is. I do want to talk about it. I just don't want to give up on the season and think, man, we already have a top 3 pick. But when it comes down to Travis Hunter, he's one of those ones for sure. Travis Hunter would be nice. I think Shedeur is going to be a great NFL quarterback. It depends on the team he goes to, though, Elock. It really depends on the team because, as you can see, look at Sam Darnold. Wasn't really doing anything around the league. Gets on the Vikings, look what happens. Baker Mayfield, same thing. So it's just going to depend on what system he goes to, who's the coach going to be, and can they basically capitalize on his strengths. Something I thought the Panthers were going to do with Bryce Young, and somehow he got worse. So, go figure that one. You would take Shedeur over Cam. I'm not going to say anything yet on that one. I got to watch them both more closely before I determine that. Personally, I think Travis Hunter should play mainly corner, then play some snaps at receiver. I like Shedeur the best. Yeah. Dynamic option forever plays quarterback. It definitely gives them. Leo, that goes actually to a great point. I think I meant to bring up earlier. We don't have a speedster on this team. There's nobody that's taking the top off. Now, XL, he has the capability to do it, but he doesn't have that acceleration. He's not quick. He's fast, so he's got that country boy speed where you let him keep running, he's gone. But right now, the Panthers don't have anybody. The second that ball snapped, they're gone, right? Like the Saints, they have Rashid Shaheed. The Falcons kind of do, kind of don't. And then the Bucks, obviously, I'm drawing a blank. Godwin's got some speed on him too. So the Panthers don't have a receiver like that. They just don't. And I think we need that. So whether it's Travis Hunter or we get somebody, I don't know, like Amir Smith Marset, we have to get a speedster. We have to force the defense to back up, right? We have to. So if they stack the box against Chuba or Brooks next year or later this season, we have somebody who's going to take the top off, because right now we don't. Deontay Johnson's quick, but he's not fast. What's his name? Leggett? Fast, but not quick. We need somebody who's just naturally going to blow by the defense where, the safety, okay, it's like they go to a cover one, they stack the box, bring the safety over there. Okay, that gives XL or, Deontay Johnson one-on-one over here, no safety over the top. That's what we need, and I feel like we don't have it. For whatever reason, we don't have a speedster, and honestly, I really don't know why. I really don't, because you got XL, Coker, Deontay Johnson, Mingo, Moore, Adam Thielen. We just don't have that. And has Amir Smith Marset been signed? Let me see. I don't know if he got signed or not yet. Let's see. Oh, he's on the Giants. No, so Amir is with Brian Burns in New York. Interesting. We keep running these end arounds with the big receiver. Yeah, I'm with you, game. It's just like XL in the kick. I don't know how y'all feel about this. Let me know. I don't like seeing XL in the kick return. I don't. He's not fluid enough. He to me, XL is just a faster Mike Williams from LA. That's what XL reminds me of. He's just a faster Mike Williams. And I feel like injury problems are going to happen because he's not fluid when he runs these routes. He's just not. And I feel like he's going to get hit. Man, I just don't like it. I watched one of those kick returns against the Falcons this past week, and I'm like, oh, God, please get him out of there. Yes, he's fast, but he's not quick. He's not fluid. He's not really making anybody miss in the open field by doing something. He'll run by them, but if he has to do something like a juke, a spin, a little double move, it's not going to be pretty. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but yeah. Game, I'm right there with you. On top of that game, you really got to double that down, because I don't love who we have blocking either, right? I don't love Adam Thielen blocking on the outside. I don't love Mingo blocking on the outside. Oh, Mingo's done decent. Deontay Johnson does not love to block. When it comes to running the ball, watch Deontay Johnson. He does not love blocking. So when we have these end arounds, I don't love who we're using. And then depending on what side they run it to as well, it's a lost cause. So Leo said that's exactly why I was confused, why we didn't keep ISM, even as a gadget player, kick returner, punt returner. Anything to be someone on the field that can distract the defense. I'm right there with you, Leo. I mean, Raheem, he's a good kick returner, but he's not ISM. He's not ISM at all. It's not even close. ISM in the open field was nasty. Now, Raheem, he's got moves. He's quick. He's fast. But he's not going to make you miss. ISM was going to make you miss. So, I'm right there with you. The whole offense changed last year once they signed ISM from, I believe, the Chiefs practice squad. Once they signed him, the offense changed. I think it was against the Packers and the Bucks it changed. And then the Jaguars like, okay, we know what to do. They stopped ISM. They beat us 26-3 or something. But for those two games before that, you saw how much the offense changed with ISM. And now, he's on the team, and they didn't really sign anybody to replace him, which confused me, to be honest. I'm going to come back to this, though, real quick. Appreciate it, game. Panther Dog stopping in to say hi. Hope you don't continue to compete with two fans. I didn't even know they were streaming, man. I haven't done a video in a week, so I'm getting on here just to say hi. But back to this, Leo. What I think happened here was Dave and Dan, they want to run that run first kind of offense. And I don't know that they thought replacing ISM was a priority. I think they thought that, draft Brooks, draft Sanders, we're going to be a run first heavy offense, and that's what we're going to do. And so a speedster, they're like, that's the last thing we need. But as you can see, that's actually what they need. To me, that's what they need the most. And it's not close, right? The offense is good, but I think to take it to that next level, you got to get a speedster. You just have to. And I don't know who else is out there right now. Receivers, free agents. Let's look. This was 2 days ago. According to Sharp Football Analysis, receivers right now: Michael Thomas, Hunter Renfrow, Corey Davis, Julio Jones. I thought he retired. Randall Cobb, Richie James, Marquez Callaway, Chase Claypool, Jakeem Grant, Willie Snead, Demir Bird, Russell Gage, Philip Dorsett, Isaiah McKenzie, Dante Pettis, Robbie Chosen, James Porsche. Michael Thomas, man, he kind of fell off. Julio fell off. I mean, Claypool's been on like 3 or 4 different teams. Same thing with Washington. Randall Cobb's older. I mean, there's not a lot out there right now. So I'm shocked they didn't keep ISM. Dark, what up, Panthers Advice? How are we doing, my guy? I appreciate you coming onto the stream. Just kind of going over the game, talking about the future, unfortunately, because it looks like we're looking at a top 5, top 10 draft pick this season because we ain't got it. We just ain't got it. Demir Bird? Is that who we're talking about? He's not bad. I mean, is he a speedster, though? Is Demir Bird a speedster? Let's look. 40 time. 4.28. Yeah, I mean, he's a speedster. So who knows? Maybe they're looking at him. Dwayne said we need defense players, not receivers. Dwayne, we were going back to a comment earlier. We need defense, but I don't know that there's one defensive player we can bring in right now that'll change everything. Right? There's nobody that we can bring in right now off the street that'll change anything. We were talking about those adding a speedster to this team that can take the top off the defense, right? We don't have that. Whether it's Coker, Deontay Johnson, Mingo, we don't have it. So, game he spoke to last year. I mean, yeah, he's got speed. He definitely has speed. 4.28. Whew. So, I mean, maybe. I don't know. But, I mean, if we keep losing, I don't know. I mean, are they going to keep trying to bring in guys? It's hard to say. Let's see. Top 5, my guy. I'm blaming the defensive injuries and just the lack of defensive skill players. Yeah, I mean, injuries definitely hurt. And it's a shame because now all the pressure's on everybody else. And it's not looking good. Guys aren't ready to handle that yet. What else we got? Leo. What elevated us in 2015 was also having a speedy, fast player. Ted Ginn. Yeah, I think 2015 you had a little bit of everything. We had a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You didn't need anything too flashy at one position, but we had everything we needed. Let's see, Dwayne. Sorry, I'm at work. Oh, it's all good, my man. So, yeah, I mean, defense has to be a priority in the offseason. No questions asked. If that's not a priority, I mean, at this point, I don't know what to do. But then you got to ask, where do you start at, right? Because Josie Jewell, he's still out and he's old. Shaq Thompson, he's done again. So now it's like, okay, we need inside linebackers. Clowney, though, he looks washed too. So it's like, what do you do with him? So now you need outside linebackers, and then you kind of need some interior help as well. Plus the safeties. I mean, where do you start when it comes to the defense, man? There's a lot. Almost too much. Great run game that spaced the field and created opportunities. Yeah. And I think they're trying to do that now, Leo, with Chuba and stuff. I don't. The play calling is just so interesting, right? It's so interesting. And Dave, it's his first year as a head coach. Hopefully, after this year, he can kind of improve. It hasn't been terrible, right? It's better than I thought it was going to be. But like I said, the play calling to Andy Cross, the play calling to Ian Thomas on the crosser. Come on, man, Ian Thomas. That's who we're trying to go to. Like, I just didn't love it. So hopefully we can figure it out. T-Bird is just injury prone, so that's an issue. I mean, game, and honestly, it fits. It fits the Panthers' motto right now, right? Shaw Smith-Wade, the rookie we drafted, coming off, I think, a season-ending injury or almost last year. Brooks coming off an injury. There's got to be 2 more guys that are coming off injuries too that the Panthers signed. I know there's a DB, so it fits the Panthers' motto to sign guys who are injured. So what else we got? I responded to your post earlier. We rebuilding, so I ain't tripping. Keep Andy one more season, draft defensive pieces, give Bryce Young one shot, or use him for picks and possibly grab a new quarterback. I mean, Dark, here's the thing, though. If they sign Andy, it's going to be, at minimum, probably a 3-year contract. So is Andy willing to come back, though, right? Is he willing to come back? Is Deontay willing to come back? I love everything you're saying, though. You got to get defensive guys. We'll see what happens, though. I don't know, man. There's just a lot right now. Frankie Louvu looked good against Lamar and the Ravens. Yeah, Ryan, I think Dan kind of, my guess is Dan underestimated Frankie and he underestimated Brian Burns. Because you saw in that Hard Knocks. You saw Dan offer the Giants GM, picks for Brian Burns right there at the Senior Bowl or something. So he was already looking to get rid of Brian Burns. Louvu, same thing. They didn't want to pay him. They thought that Josie Jewell could match Louvu's production, right? And they thought Clowney could match Brian Burns. Turns out, neither one was true. So they kind of missed. They kind of missed. Now, should the Panthers have paid Burns all that money? No. But I don't think they would have had to had they figured it out, before. And really, Dan is still to blame for that because Dan was still on the team, right? And Navarro was still the coordinator last year. So really, EE and Dan are kind of to blame for the defense because it's not like they're new to the Panthers organization, right? They were here the whole time. So, I mean, I go back and forth. What's your take on Trevin Wallace? Could he be a future piece to... Here's the only thing on Trevin, game, and I wish... thing about Trevin is he's a smaller guy. And not small like as in, how big he is, but smaller as in kind of thin-framed. And his biggest knock in college was stopping the run. Because once those tackles and those guards start to push second level, how can he push through that 280, 300-pound lineman, right? And that's where he struggles at. He's not a Beeson. He's not a Thomas Davis kind of guy. He's a skinnier linebacker, right? So he's like bigger than a safety. Yeah, he's 6'1". I mean, not the biggest. And then weight, what are we looking at? He's 240. So he's 6'1", 240. He's not the biggest guy there. So once those linemen start to push second level up on him, how can he beat those guys? Something he has to work on. Now, he's only a rookie, and the Panthers thought he would have time to develop. They didn't think he would be starting right away. So he's having to learn on the go. So I'm not going to judge him from anything that happens this season because it's a learning experience for him. So I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, Ryan, I mean, there's just a lot of things that just haven't gone the Panthers' way. And you know that, right? You've been around the whole time. So whether it was McCaffrey, the Burns, signing these guys in the offseason, whether it's DJ Wanham, who we still haven't seen, Jules out. There's just everybody. Clowney hasn't done anything. Clowney just looks old. I mean, Dane Jackson, the cornerback, has he played it down yet? I don't think he's played. I don't think he's played yet. So all these guys we signed, for what? Like, we signed Clowney, hasn't done much. Deontay Johnson, he's done his thing. I'll give him that, but we traded for him. Line did good. Ashawn, go back and forth on. But yeah, Dane Jackson, I don't think he's played yet. Wanham hasn't played yet. They signed Caleb Vaughn. I want to go back to this real quick. They signed Caleb Vaughn and then they released him. It was what, like a one? It wasn't that expensive, was it? 1 year deal worth up to $5 million. I could be in a boat by myself on this, but I feel like Caleb Vaughn is better than DJ Johnson and arguably Charles Harris too. I feel like when it comes to natural talent, natural God-given ability, Caleb Vaughn is better than them. I mean, let me know what you guys think, but I felt like Caleb Vaughn just naturally just more physically gifted. I don't know. So they got rid of him for what? I don't know. Troy Hill, I guess he was signed for 1 year. I'm not worried about that, I guess. Fuller hasn't done much. Nick Scott hasn't done much. And then they brought back Raheem. I don't know. They brought back Raheem for what? To return kicks? Like, I don't think Raheem has any... Does he have a rush on the season? Let me see. 6 games played this season, no rushes. No receptions. So they brought back Raheem to return kicks and punts. Raheem has played 6 games this season and doesn't have a single rush or reception this season. Well, I don't know, man. Trevor going to be a beast. I believe in him. I do believe in him. We can agree the defense is horrible, but if we are left with drafting the best defensive player or guy like the guy from Texas, who do you pick? We'll see what happens. I don't want to get into that yet, Ryan. I don't want to get into that quite yet. I thought Luvu didn't want to be here. I thought he said he preferred other schemes. Luvu was a dog. He might have said that game. He might have said that. I read that, or, I think Commanders paid him more money too. So I'm not sure what it was. The scheme, I do wonder about, because, Evero brought over Josie Jewell from Denver, and that was supposed to be his guy, and Josie Jewell for the first 4 to 5 weeks wasn't doing anything. He wasn't doing anything. So it's either the scheme sucks or Josie Jewell is old and washed like everybody else that we brought in. And it's got to be one or the other, right? So, oh man, it's rough. It's rough. And like I said, the Raheem thing doesn't make any sense to me. No rushes, no receptions. Why did we bring him back? Why not keep him on the practice squad? I don't understand that one, to be honest. I like him as a running back, but they're not even using him. I'm a little confused. Let's see, who else did they bring in? Raheem, Amir Smith-Barset, but then he's gone. So I don't know, guys. That's kind of my thoughts on this. Let's see. Luvu should have got the bag. He did. Ryan, he definitely got the bag. Salty about the Christian McCaffrey trade. Couldn't stay healthy. No, I'm with you there, Dark, to a point. So it's kind of defense. It's competent. I thought they did decent, though. Sid on this game, I thought they did decent. I don't know. I just feel like now it's just like, just keep talking about the same thing. So I'm with you, Sid. It's been an hour. We got into the defense earlier. It's just, yeah. It's frustrating at this point. Well, here's the thing with this, though, Leo. We talked about this earlier. I don't know if you were in here. Do they rush Brooks back off the ACL injury? Let's say hypothetically he's supposed to play in 2 weeks. We're 1-5. So let's say we're 1-7. Do we bring Brooks back? Is there a point to bringing him back off the ACL tear? I don't know. We love old and washed players. Yeah, 100%. That seems to be a thing, and we're probably going to call it a wrap in 5 minutes. A couple more topics. Let me know if you guys want to see anything real quick. But this is one I want to talk about, Leo. Is Jeremy Chin is a dog. He has something I've said before: God-given ability, God-given talent. And when you have that, that means something you can't teach. And how Jeremy Chin got I mean, you can see goosebumps. Look at that. Look at my hair sticking up. This is goosebumps because I'm still confused. Jeremy Chin got no playing time really at all last year. If Vera would not play him in the scheme, whether it was a 3-4 scheme or the nickel, he would not play Chin at all. And I still don't understand it. Yes, he's a great defensive coach, but to not play Chin, not even at the nickel position against the Dolphins, when the receivers were running right by us, to not play Chin and man-to-man right there, or zone over the top to run with Tyreek Hill, I didn't understand it. How you don't find a spot for him is beyond me. Yeah, he's not the best zone corner. He's not the best man corner, but he's got that natural speed. He's got that natural ability to be a playmaker, right? Tyrann Mathieu for the Saints now, the safety. If you watch him, he doesn't tackle anybody, but he's always right there where the ball is every time. So I had to go on a little rant right there. My fault. Joe was at the house too. He wasn't in football shape off jump. No, yeah, I agree. Love your work. Hate our team's defense. Eventually. Keep Brooks on the bench till next season. Yeah, I mean, that seems like the smart move to me. Chuba, we'll see what happens there. But, I mean, why rush Brooks back if we're not going to win? Other than to see him, but then is it worth it? Right? So, I mean, you do want to see him get some reps. Like Leo says right here. We do want to see him get some reps, but we got to be smart about it. So it kind of goes back to what Dave said in the preseason. Well, we don't want our guys to get hurt. Well, do we want our guys to get hurt if we're 1-9 on the season? Not really. The messed part up is that we wanted dogs. Oh, I mean, don't even get me started on. I don't know, man. You know, I felt like they had good intentions, but I felt like I don't know. We were almost constrained to a point where we went out, we got Dane Jackson, we got Nick Scott, we got, was it Fuller, I think, too? Where's Fuller already on the team? Let me see. We got these guys. Okay, Fuller we did grab. That were like, they had proved it for a year or two, but they haven't proven it for a long term. So I felt like it was like, we went to Walmart and got the great value brand, right? We're on a budget. And we went on a budget for the secondary. For the front seven, the front seven, Amex, right? Black card, bang, 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 bang. For the secondary, we said, here's our loose change. Loose change. Front seven, black card, bang, bang, bang. Secondary, just threw our loose change at it. Nothing against Fuller, Scott, or anything like that, but you can see the talent we brought in for the front seven versus the secondary. Night and day difference. Just look at the contracts. Look at the contracts between the secondary we gave Fuller and Nick Scott, right? Compared to what we gave Josie Jewell, DJ Wanham, Jadeveon Clowney, A'Shawn Robinson. You see all this? Big difference. Credit card on the secondary, our loose change. Or no, credit card on that front seven, our loose change on the secondary. Dark Brooks can do mop-up work. Yeah, agree. Chin wasn't used properly. He has issues tracking the ball. Oh, 100%. Yeah, game, 100%. I remember a couple years ago, I was doing my film breakdown on Chin. He struggled a little bit when it came to cover 4, cover 3, adjusting and whatnot. But he's a playmaker, and he is fast as hell. And he's kind of that rover type, not quite a linebacker, but bigger than a safety and faster than a linebacker, and usually a safety too. How Avero did not come up with a plan for him is beyond me. I do think Horn and Jackson can be one of the best. Oh, 1,000%. Jackson's only getting better. Horn, when he's healthy, you see. And Horn, honestly, you know, everybody knew he was a good corner, but the amount of tackles he's made on the outside from runs to his side because the edge guys can't force the other guys back inside, the running back back inside is impressive, right? Horn has made a ton of tackles on running backs or receivers running to his side because the linebackers or the edge guys cannot get over there. Horn has shocked me. Fuller and Scott are not good. No, they're not. They're not disciplined. They keep getting beat over the top. It's just not good. So I'm about to wrap it up, though. Appreciate everybody who came onto the stream. Bottom line is we trade away our defense for offensive weapons. Unfortunately, those weapons are young. Yeah, but the good news is, Ryan, is that we have weapons, though, right? It looks like it's probably the last thing I touch on. You got Deontay Johnson, or we have XL, we have Coker, we have tight ends for the future, Jatavion, Tremble, and then we got our line. So our offense, for the most part, is set. Excluding quarterback. So I'm happy with that part. The defense obviously needs a lot of work. So stay tuned. We got videos coming this week. I apologize. I didn't really put out much last week. I got a little busy, and honestly, man, this team's just been frustrating to watch. But I appreciate everybody who came onto the stream. Might do another one later this week. Stay tuned. I'll catch you guys then. Take it easy.